Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Jay, hitting you up once again, and I want to talk about this Manny Pacquiao versus Chris Algeri fight. This fight is pretty much right around the corner this weekend. There's been a lot of buzz surrounding this fight. I don't think that it's that great of a fight, honestly. I think that Chris Algeri, now, I don't blame him for taking the fight, but the thing is, I think that Chris Algeri's taking this fight a little too soon, because when he fought Provodnikov, it wasn't like he went in there and, you know, I mean, he went pretty much life and death with Provodnikov. He got back up from the knockdowns. He did what he had to do to win the fight, you know, which is cool and all. But at the end of the day, that was a highly controversial decision, and I felt like a rematch needed to happen in that fight. The fight was too close, and a lot of people actually think that Provodnikov won that fight. So now he's got this, you know, he earned this, you know, this grand big shot against Manny Pacquiao, and I just don't see how Provodnikov's going to win this fight. He's got way too much factors stacked up against him going into this fight. While it's true that styles makes fights, that is true, but in this situation, there's nobody that Chris Algeri has dominated or, you know, looked extremely good against that is even closely near the elite level of Manny Pacquiao. And we're talking about Manny Pacquiao now, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, he's not the killer he was back in, you know, 2007 and 2009 and 2008, but he's still a top elite fighter. I mean, he's up there, you know, with the Timothy Bradleys, the Juan Manuel Marquez's, the Vladimir Klitschko's, Floyd Mayweather's, the Guillermo Rigondeaux's. There is nobody that Chris Algeri has fought that's even literally even almost in the same ball field as those kind of fighters. All right. Chris Algeri, you know, is a pure boxer. He's not that bad of a boxer, man. He's not. He doesn't do like anything that really just stands out that makes you say, wow, you know, this guy is really great. You know what I'm saying? I think Chris Algeri is still on that rising level of, you know, he's still coming up. You know what I'm saying? But I think what this fight is what it's going to boil down to is that Chris Algeri, from the opening bell, he's going to have to literally dominate Manny Pacquiao to get a clear-cut decision in this fight. He's not going to knock Manny Pacquiao. He's not going to knock him out with one big dynamic punch. So you could just, you know, X that out. He's going to have to literally outbox Manny Pacquiao, and that right there is going to be hard enough when that fighter is going to be in Macau, China. And you know it's going to be all Asian crowd, so you know they're going to be pro Pacquiao. All right, so he's going to have to look really superb in this fight. And what another factor that's going to have to boil down to is that Chris Algeri, he's not going to win the fight if he thinks that he's going to, you know, move around the ring the whole entire night, stick a jab, and think that he's going to get the nod, because it's not going to be good enough. He's literally going to have to dominate this kid, and in order to do that, he's going to have to let his hands go. And that, to me, is another turning point in the fight, is where when he tries to let his hands go, that's when I think Manny Pacquiao is going to hit him with some stuff. Hit him with some very good combinations. And I think Chris Algeri is going to be in for a rough night. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Chris Algeri, he's going to win probably a few rounds. But other than that, I can't see him winning any more than maybe 2 or 3 rounds at the most. I could see him giving Manny Pacquiao some problems, but I don't think it's going to be enough to where it's not going to let Manny Pacquiao off his guard, and you know, it's not going to like completely shut, you know, Manny Pacquiao out of the fight. You know what I'm saying? Now, when Manny Pacquiao fought Marquez and Timothy Bradley, then you could say, okay, you know, styles makes fights in those particular matchups, because those guys have accomplished way more than what Chris Algeri has. And once again, I'm not shitting on Chris Algeri at all. I think he's a decent boxer. He's not bad, but he's not ready for this level of boxing, man. He's gonna lose, and he's gonna look dumb losing, man. I'm telling you, he ain't ready for this. He's not ready for this big league, man. He's looking good in training camp. I have seen him, you know, train. I have seen him been doing a lot of interviews. I think he's in a whole league of his own, man. I really do. He got a whole lot coming to him, man. And the fact that he has so much stacked up against him, I don't see how this kid is going to pull it off, man. I got Manny Pacquiao winning a wide, comfortable decision against Chris Algeri. The only way Chris Algeri is going to miraculously win this fight, if there's like 3 CJ judges, as you know, CJ Rosses as the judges in that fight. Now, you know, we've seen Top Rank before. We've known that, you know, they're known for giving away bogus decisions. But I can't see it in this case. I think Manny Pacquiao, he's gonna do some work to Chris Algeri, man. I really do. I'm not buying anything that there's nothing that Chris Algeri has that even Manny Pacquiao at 50%, I think would still beat Chris Algeri at a full 100%. I mean, yeah, he has height, but that's not really like a deciding factor. Just because he has height, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's over for Manny Pacquiao in this fight. I mean, it's not like it's going to make a difference in the fight. I mean, it'll make a little bit of a difference in some rounds, but I mean, if you look at when he fought Emmanuel Taylor, he didn't start using his height till like midway to the end of the fight. So Chris Algeri is going to have to let his hands go early in the fight. I mean, I'm talking about from round 1 all the way to round 12. I mean, Chris Algeri, I don't see nobody getting knocked down in this fight, and I don't see nobody getting knocked out. But Chris Algeri just has too much stacked up against him. I just don't see how this kid's going to pull it off, man. I got Manny Pacquiao winning a pretty wide decision. I can see Chris Algeri winning maybe like 2 or 3 rounds, and that's really about it. I think Chris Algeri is going to be on the big stage for the first time. I think you might see some nervousness out of him while he's fighting in the ring. I mean, I just don't see how this kid's going to pull it off, man. But that's just my quick little 2 cents on it. And I want to talk about this Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather situation going to 2015. Now, there's been a lot of buzz on internet, on Facebook. There's been a lot of stuff. There's been a lot of shit going on saying that, you know, they talking about trying to make the fight in Cowboy Stadium and this and that. And you're already hearing stuff like, you're hearing like a lot of different two-sided arguments where it's like one side is saying the fight's already made, and you got one side saying that Floyd Mayweather hasn't agreed to nothing. So I'm not buying into this hype again. I mean, as fans, we've been suckered so many times. You know, we think that we see the light at the end of the tunnel, And then when you think the fight's going to happen, you know, there's no more light at the end of the tunnel. You know, this has happened time and time and time again. I mean, first off, it's kind of crazy that they're talking about that they already agreed to fight each other when Manny Pacquiao hasn't even fought Chris Algeri yet. So that right there, to me, is like a red flag. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe anything right now that the media is saying that the fight's already made and this and that. If I was Manny Pacquiao, and if Manny Pacquiao, this is Manny Pacquiao's big chance right here, this Saturday night. He needs to make a statement against Chris Algeri, which I think he will. He needs to make a statement, and he needs to dominate this kid. And in the post-fight interview, he needs to call Mayweather out. I mean, time and time again, we've seen to where he says, you know, it's up to my promoter at the post-fight interview. You know, saying shit like that is not going to get the fight done. If he really, really wants to fight Mayweather, you know, don't let Freddie Roach or Bob Arum hold your hand. You need to call this guy out. I mean, there's really no way around it. You know, it's been like, this fight should have happened years ago, and it's pretty ironic that we're still talking about it going into 2015. You know, it's just getting really tiring of them talking about fighting each other. When you hear them in the media, they're saying, yeah, we want to fight each other, but then you hear, like, in different interviews that there's always some, you know, bullshit excuse. And then you got Manny Pacquiao saying, you know, it's always up to my promoter. If he's saying it's up to my promoter again, then I have to come to the conclusion that Manny Pacquiao don't want to fight. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's really common sense. If he goes out there and dominates this kid, he needs to call Mayweather out. That way, all the heads are going to turn towards Floyd Mayweather, and the attention is going to be on him now to make the fight. We already know that Mayweather don't like Bob Arum. That's not even the issue. But if Manny Pacquiao, I mean, this has been proven time and time again. We saw Ricky Hatton do it. Shit, we saw Shane Mosley do it after the when Mayweather beat Marquez. He went to Mayweather's face and said, I want to fight you. And then guess what? The fight got made. Same thing with Ricky Hatton. He called him out. Mayweather was in a short retirement and came out of retirement and fought him. So in this situation, is really, to me, it's no different if Pacquiao is going to call him out. And to me, that's what he really needs to do, man. I hope that Manny Pacquiao calls him out and really show us that he wants this fight to happen. Because, I mean, I'm telling you guys right now, man, 2015 is it. It's do or die. Like, I cannot see no more buzz of a Mayweather-Pacquiao fight possibly happening in 2016. I just can't see it happen. And to tell you the truth, I'm more intrigued to see fights like, I want to see like Kovalev and Stevenson. I'm more hyped up about that fight than Mayweather and Pacquiao at this point. Because it's just too much bullshit. Go in there and call the dude out, man. It's not hard, I'm telling you. Don't let Bob Arum and Freddie Roach hold your hands. I mean, there's always a truth behind the madness. And so Pacquiao has to use the power, the limited power that he got to call Mayweather out, man. If he calls him out, I believe the fight will happen, because depending on how Manny Pacquiao looks, and if he does really good against Algeri, if he calls Mayweather out, I mean, the money and all that shit could be worked out. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different angles you could look at when it comes to this, you know, money shit. But at the end of the day, man, the fans don't really care about the money shit. You know what I'm saying? All that shit could be worked out. I'm telling you guys, mark my words. Save this video, and let's see if Manny Pacquiao is going to call out Floyd at the end of the fight.